Hi, hello, hey. So in this video, I'm going to be finally using the set of oil pastels. I've had this for almost 2 years and I haven't used it yet. I've been waiting to use them in a YouTube video and I just kept putting the video off because me and oil pastels, we got a bad track record. I've never done a drawing that I liked with them before, which stinks because I really like drawing with them. Like, I like how smooth and buttery they are. I like blending them. But yeah, I can never get as like detailed as I want. But today I'm having a successful drawing. I will. So, I got some materials for this, okay? Well, actually, I think I got this at the same time that I got these, around the same time, but I got some barrier cream and I got some techniques I want to try here. Okay, this is kind of dirty, but like, you know. I've heard you can use these for like blending and moving oil pastels around. And I've got some Q-tips, which you can use. And I'm also going to try using linseed oil. Yeah, you know, every time I look at my oil painting supplies, it really looks like I use them all the time because they're so beat up. I've only used this a couple times, but it looks like I've used it a lot. Yeah, if you use linseed oil, you can like kind of like melt them and blend them, and you can use like brushes to get details, I think. So I'm gonna try that. I also got some of these. I thought I had one that I was using for oil pastels already that was like super dirty, but I couldn't find it. So I'm gonna be destroying these. And oh yeah, our last thing is a paper towel. How exciting. Yeah. Also, what this is it's a barrier cream, and maybe I'll just say what it is. A light, non-greasy cream, which forms a barrier against all types of artist materials. Application will make removal of color from the skin easier. Yeah. Apply a small amount of product to the skin before working, covering hands thoroughly. To remove, use soap and water. Yeah, so basically I was watching all these tutorials about pastels and they kind of freaked me out, and they were like, you're supposed to wear gloves, and I was like, you're supposed to wear gloves. And then a lot of people were using these ones, so I was like, maybe the professional ones are just kind of toxic. I think maybe people just don't know, because I do know a lot of like paints, a lot of watercolors, the pigment is toxic to breathe in, but since it's like a paint and not like a dust like the pigment is, then it's okay. But like, you know, if you were getting like pigments, you don't want to like breathe those in, and soft pastels can be kind of scary. But yeah, apparently touching oil pastels is bad. I've also heard you're not supposed to touch oil paints. People always wear gloves. I don't like wearing gloves, so I got this, and considering I don't use oil pastels or oil paints very often, then I don't think I'll go through this very fast at all. So that's what this is. It's supposed to, you know, protect your hands or whatever. But yeah, I'm not really sure like how bad those things are for you, but this material video I was watching for oil pastels say they use a barrier cream, so yeah, I got one. We'll see how it works. And I'm also going to be using my other oil pastels. So these are all of my other ones. I got this fancy drawer thing a while ago, and yeah, so look what I have up here. Aren't they pretty? Anyway, I got these for like my oil pastels and for pencils, which is cool. So I have all of my pencils in here. Well, not all of them, but I have these ones. And then these two drawers are empty, fun fact. So I got more room. Yeah, so I'm gonna be using my other oil pastels too. I know I could just use these, but this is an art challenge. I'm trying to make a good drawing here. And like I said, I've never made a good drawing with oil pastels. So I'm gonna be using my other ones too to make sure I have all of my color options. So first things first, I'm gonna swatch them, make sure they show up on gray paper. And then I'm gonna test out my tools and techniques on here before I do the picture. And then I will start the drawing. Hi, voiceover me here. So I started with putting on the barrier cream, which it kind of smells like, I don't know, I guess just how you think it would smell, like glue or something. And it really just felt like lotion. Yeah, so I spent forever rubbing it in. And eventually it did just like dry and then it was fine. But yeah, while I was swatching, I had like the feeling of it on my hands. I actually really hate the way lotion feels on my hands. Fun fact. And also with the barrier cream is like, I don't know if there's any way to like tell if it worked or not. I will say I did have to wash my hands a couple of times to get it off. And one of the other things it said it did was made like the color come off your hands easier so your hands didn't get stained, which happens to me a lot. Acrylic inks always stain my hands and they'll be there for like days. But anyway, I don't think there's any way to tell if like if it did create a good barrier or not, you know, since it was like clear and everything. But yeah, so I was just testing to see if like the oil pastels show up on the gray paper, and they did. And then I was trying some different blending techniques. And the rubber thingy, I don't even know what to call that. I got that like when I was a kid at the art store. I thought it was cool. And it comes in handy for random stuff. But I actually use it for masking fluid is what I use it for these days. But it actually worked pretty good for like blending out the oil pastels, kind of. And the Q-tip worked okay. I actually don't really like Q-tips for blending. Everyone uses them, but I always use them and I'm like, meh. So now I'm trying the linseed oil, and it actually did work pretty cool. I didn't actually end up like using it for the picture because I was worried the paper I'm using, I think it's just like pencil paper. It's the Strathmore gray paper, toned gray. Yeah, toned gray paper. And it is like good paper, but I was worried like the too much like linseed oil would like, I don't know, mess it up since it's not made for like paint, you know? I did use this technique a lot though. So I used a little like blending stump and I like got oil pastel on it, and then I could get like tiny lines with that. And that actually worked pretty good. And now I'm just doing a classic little blending test. I already knew these would blend good, but I don't know. I figured I'd just like show it or something. But yeah, and then this thing, you kind of like scrape it off, which looks kind of cool. But yeah, I also did not end up doing this either. Yeah, maybe if I do some more oil pastel drawings, but yeah, I didn't get too experimental on this one. And now I'm folding this, and I was going to use it as like a swatch card in case I needed that. I don't even think I ended up using it though. I'm not even sure that little piece of paper is, but I'm pretty sure I like never used it. Yeah, so now I'm erasing the lines a little bit on the pencil to make sure it doesn't show through. I always like to erase the lines like after I show you the sketch, just so it's like clearer when I first show you. And I'm starting off with the skin tone. And I am so happy I didn't try to just use like the set of 12, because I ended up using so many more of the other colors than I thought I was going to. I also forgot how many oil pastel colors I had. Like, I had a bunch of different skin tone colors, which was really helpful. I mean, I could use more, I'm not gonna lie, like, would have been helpful, but for the ones that I had, it was nice. Like, every single time I, like, don't use paint, I forget you can't just, like, mix the color you want. Like, painting, you can just get, like, a perfect gradient, because you can just, like, mix the color, you know? Like, oh, in between color, no problem. But then, like, with other mediums, it's, like, a whole thing. So it's usually helpful with, like, non-paints to have multiple colors. Also, the character that I'm drawing, she doesn't have a name, but she's a new character I designed recently. She's like a fairy. I forgot to draw her wings though, so she probably doesn't look like a fairy, but she has wings, okay? I just kind of forgot. There's not really room for her wings anyway, so I think that's why I kind of like forgot to draw them, because I was like, do I want to draw wings? And then I like forgot, so I didn't end up drawing wings. But yeah, so I've been drawing her a lot just because I really like her color scheme. Okay, here's the fun part. Look at the white. That's so crazy. I think I forgot to say this earlier, but these are I don't even, if it's, is it sennelier or sennelier? I think it's sennelier, right? The sennelier oil pastels. And I could totally tell a big difference between these ones and the other ones I was using. These ones are a lot softer and they're a lot more opaque, which was nice. Like the white was so much more opaque. So if you already have some oil pastels and like you don't have any of these, I'd recommend just like getting the white. So then you can have like a super opaque white, because look at that. But also, I liked having two different kinds of oil pastels because like the translucent ones did come in handy if I didn't want like a super bright white like that. I wanted just like to lighten the color or something, I would use the other one. And also the other oil pastels that I had, they were harder, so they were easier to get like thinner lines with. Also, I was using 3 different brands of oil pastels. One of them is the one you can see right there. It's like the pink packaging, or like the muted pink, and then the new ones obviously. And then also these other ones, which I don't remember the brand, but they show up like later, I think. And I wasn't using them as much, but they're actually water soluble oil pastels, which is interesting. And I've had them since I was a kid. Fun fact. I just didn't use them as much because I guess I just didn't have as many colors or something. They were there. I used them a couple times. Oh, also, I am happy I used this paper. I wasn't sure if it was gonna like work good or not, but I feel like it worked out. I was confused though because in the oil pastel videos I was watching, a lot of them were using mixed media paper, and I was like, how come me and mixed media paper for oil pastels never got along, but you guys made it work? So yeah, I don't know, mixed media paper apparently does work, but I think I'm just gonna use this paper next time. Although I feel like you can kind of still see the gray of the paper through like some parts, since the other pastels I was using weren't as opaque. But I think it still turned out good. Also, fun fact, last time I used oil pastels, since you can like, you know, they're like opaque, you can build on top of each other, I didn't really do like the lightest colors first, which is what I did this time. And the thing is with oil pastels is they're so blendy. So if you do the darkest colors first, then you can like blend it into the light colors on accident. And that's what happened to me last time. Like, she had super dark hair in the one I did last time. And then I did the skin tone after the hair, and I blended the hair and the skin together, and it was a total mess. So this time I did the hair like last. Oh, also I tried to make this section a lot shorter because as usual I spent a lot of time shading the hair. The rest of the video I just sped up, but yeah, this part I like deleted some parts because I was here forever. Oh, I also just realized I haven't given her eyebrows yet, so just know I do give her eyebrows. I guess I do that after I shade the hair. They'll be there eventually, okay? Also, oil pastel life hack is I did make her eyes closed on purpose because I did not want to have to draw the eyes with these like giant crayon things. So I was like, why don't I draw her eyes closed? Because there was this one person who I was watching their oil pastel videos, and they like always drew their eyes closed a lot of the time. And I was like, huh, why is that? And then I was like, oh, it's because they're oil pastels, isn't it? So yeah, I was like, that's a good idea. I'm definitely going to do that. I'm pretty sure that in my last video, I drew a lot of people with their eyes closed, so 2 weeks in a row of doing that. Sorry. Next time, I'll make sure their eyes are open. It was still hard to get like the small eyelashes like lines, but I would have had to do that like a lot more and a lot of other small details if the eyes were open, so I'm glad that they're closed. And there are the eyebrows. This drawing really made me want to use an opaque medium, so I do think I want to do a video about gouache soon. I don't know why, I don't use my gouache paints very often, but it's my like favorite medium like with watercolor. I do use watercolor a lot more, but they're kind of tied. I always say I like the look of gouache better, but I like the consistency of watercolors better. So I normally use watercolors and I just like try to fake making them look opaque. But yeah, so I think I want to do a gouache video soon. I have a couple other videos I want to do first, and I don't know what I would paint with gouache, but I definitely want to paint something. I also haven't used my acrylic gouaches in forever. I feel like I use my my Himi gouache a lot, like off camera, but I haven't used my Holbein gouaches in forever, and especially not my acrylic gouache. It sits there and it stares at me, and I really want to use it, but I never do. Oh, maybe I could do a video of like regular gouache versus acrylic gouache, and I could do like 2 paintings, you know, talking about the difference or something. I mean, I'm sure that's been done before, but I just want to use both of them, so maybe I could do that. Also, I'm still shading the hair. That's how long it took me. I was here forever. I was so bored too. I was like, when does it end, the hair? Okay, I'm not really sure what else to talk about, so I'll tell you this. I don't know what video to make next week, so first one who comments which video I should make, I'll make that video. So I have a sketchbook tour I could do, and I also have a trying new watercolors. So I'm gonna do both of them. I just don't know which one to do next week and which one to do the week after. Yeah, so should I do the sketchbook tour first or the watercolors first? So I have these new watercolors that I've been waiting to do a video of for like 2 months, but I haven't done it yet, so I didn't know what to paint with them, but I finally know what I want to draw. So comment below, next video, new watercolors or sketchbook tour. And I did do a background. I like doing backgrounds even if it's like really simple, so I just did like some, I don't know, green stuff. And I actually think it like looks really good, so I'm happy I did a background. And I finally colored in the flower. I colored it in last because I couldn't decide on what color to make it, and I decided to go with purple just because like it matched the color scheme, but I think it matched a little too well. I wish it would have like stood out a little bit more. Yeah, so here is the finished painting / drawing. Some people call oil pastel stuff painting, some people call them drawings, so I'm not really sure which to call it. So here it is. It's definitely my best oil pastel drawing. There's a couple of things that I just like don't like about it. There's a couple, okay, I forgot to clean that. There's a couple little spots on it where like the colors kind of are in the wrong spot. Dang it. Go away. But yeah, don't look too close at it. And there's a couple of things I just want to fix. Okay, I'm done messing with it. This is the finished picture. I still need to spray it with, sorry, my window's open. I still need to spray it with fixative, so it like, you know, won't get everywhere when I touch it, but I'll do that tomorrow. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. And if you did enjoy this video, then, you know, comment, like, subscribe. That would be appreciated. And I'm going to link some oil pastel artists that I found helpful in the description, some of their YouTube channels. And I'm also going to link my video from last week in case you missed it. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and goodbye. I always go all high-pitched when I say bye. I hate it. Goodbye.